Welcome to the Intuitive Therapist Podcast with Janis R. Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as the angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist, here on the Intuitive Therapist Podcast. Something that's come into my awareness from my guides is the need to talk about this word heal, this need to heal. And I have to tell you, this is a very special message that came through today, came through very, very quickly, so quickly that I actually had to write it down. And they, as everybody knows, they use me very, very directly. And so I'm going to share with you what I got. It's all channeled. And so my hope is that it's going to help somebody put something in perspective that they need to put in perspective about this thing that people hear constantly. You need to heal. Oh, you've got to heal that. Okay. So here's the message. Each of us is perfectly designed, and it may be hard to believe, but we are. There is nothing anyone needs to heal in themselves. Nothing. And that's why I titled this episode today, This is What You Need to Do Instead of Trying to Heal Yourself, because the healing is just bullshit, and I'm going to talk to you about why. You may find that it's hard to believe that you don't need to heal. And there's so much talk about having to heal from trauma, pain, loss, or anything that causes you to feel restricted emotionally. But as a therapist of 30 years, and as someone who considers herself pretty emotionally evolved, one thing I know for sure is that we don't need to heal from anything. True, we carry energy and emotions with us if they're not dealt with, but none of that breaks us, although we may feel broken at times. But really what being broken is that we have been pushed to push away what has blocked us so that we can open up to a new way of being. That's what being broken is. It's the stripping away of the protection that we have kept in front of ourselves. So none of what happens to us causes us to be imperfect or broken or in need of healing. And I want you to hear that. You may have to listen to this episode several times. You may reject the entire thing. I am not attached to this. They're telling me very clearly to tell you that. Okay? So because we're already whole, complete and perfect soul beings, we're not here to heal, right? So the challenge for us all now is that we realize that we're borrowing bodies to complete our soul's mission. And that's really all our bodies are for us. The container to do our job and to do what our soul has agreed to do. That's why our bodies die. We have, because we've completed. We've done what we've needed to do in that particular body and with those particular people and with those particular experiences and in that particular lifetime. Our job is done. Our soul has aligned with the lessons and the learnings that we need in each lifetime and has created a reverberation for other people in their lives. Just like you skip a stone on water, you see there's a reverberation. That's what we do in our lives for other people. So whether or not we learn what we've been pre-programmed to learn, that's a whole nother thing. But no soul is imperfect. Now, this is going to be strange for you to hear, but they had me write this down. Even sociopaths, murderers, and all the people who violate someone else, their soul has agreed to show up in that way to teach others something. The shitty part about those souls who come in to do these horrendous things, and I am not approving of them or dismissing the horrendous nature of them or the awful impact that they have. But those souls come in and they do the horrendous things that they do to other humans because they need to be so freaking horrible to get the affected souls to fulfill a mission that they wouldn't otherwise fulfill or grow in a way that they wouldn't otherwise grow had they not gone through that trauma. That is a big load of information. And again, like I said, some of you may hear that and go, there's no way to justify that. I am not justifying. I am sharing what was channeled. And there is truth to it. I know it sounds really effed up, and I know you may find it really hard to stomach that. But if you're someone who truly believes that our souls inhabit human bodies to learn our lessons, to grow and impact the greater good, then you understand and accept that every single agreement we have with every single person, with every single experience, in every single lifetime has already been designed for us to do that. Yes, free will plays into our choices of the human beings that the human bodies that we inhabit. And even the worst of the worst choose to do or not to do particular things based on free will. I agree. Yes, free will trumps whatever is predestined. We all know that. And that's a whole different thing. But these awful people, with this awful behavior, have shown up in the worst ways to help other people rise beyond and grow in ways that they would not grow, and open up in ways that they would not open up, and help other people in ways that they would not have helped them had they not gone through that. Now, for those of you who have experienced violence and trauma and awful things, I am so sorry. I am so sorry that you've experienced that. And if you haven't come to this conclusion in your own growth of what I just said, I can fully understand how you would completely reject what I've said and probably shut this episode off, not listen to it. I get it. However, the message today is not coming from me. I am channeling this entire message because someone out there somewhere needs to hear this, and it is going to help someone, maybe more than one person, to put what's happened to them or to someone they love in a perspective that is a bit more palatable. And if we all look at what happens to us as an opportunity to find greater purpose and meaning for ourselves, no matter how grotesque the incident or incidents are, then you will find your doorway and path to your emotional freedom. And if you hold on to grief, anger, hatred, and stay there, well, it's like you're doing the job of the killer and the perp, right? You're killing yourself in the process, and you're doing more damage to you than in the moments that the person who has committed the violation did it in. Does that make sense? Because you're carrying that with you for your life. And I know what I'm saying sounds insane. I know. And maybe today is not the day for you to receive the message. And that's okay. Somebody out there needs to make sense of things that have happened, and somebody out there needs to hear this today. Somebody's reality needs to be shaken. Somebody's soul needs to shake them and say, hey, listen to this today. Just listen. It's time. And because everybody is already perfect, and that bad things happen to you, oddly enough, this sounds so weird with what I just said, but the bad things that happen to you aren't personal because of the fact that those particular things happened the way they did. But your soul has designed a personal system of experiences so that in whatever way the experience shows up, the lesson for you to learn is personal. Experiencing it in the way that you did is not, except for the fact that if you have been ignoring learning the lesson, the experience of learning a lesson will become more severe. So, our soul helps us to fulfill our soul's mission to clear up our karma and then perhaps find some relief, I hope you will, in knowing that you can help other people clear up their karma. Knowing that whatever it is that you've gone through, there is purpose. Not always justification, I get it. But there is purpose in it. I don't expect most people to really get this today. I really don't. It's complex. It's mind-boggling. It's unacceptable to many who are suffering and struggling and in pain. But if there are a few of you who find peace in what this message says, I'm so glad. I get it. My team was adamant today that I share this with you, and whatever you could take from it, take. That's how it works. Whatever you need to leave behind from today's message, if you want to stick your middle finger up at me and go, you have no idea, Janis, what I've been through. There's no way that what I've been through, I could turn into a positive. Okay. Maybe not yet. Maybe you'll come back to this episode a week later, a year later, 10 years later. I don't know. And you'll listen to it and your ears will hear it differently. It will register with you differently. I hope. Whatever you need to leave behind from today, leave behind. Just pick and choose what matters, what makes sense. Some of the most dominant learning comes from picking and choosing what you're ready to receive. We're not always ready to receive what we need to hear and what we need to learn. And it's all fine. Just choose what fits for you and then keep going. You see, you're perfect. You are perfect. Your soul is perfect. And you chose this human body, this human life, these relationships, these experiences, this way of being, because you simply need to clean up what you need to clean up. There's nothing imperfect about you. It's just that as a human being, we need to fix our human flaws. And life gives us opportunity after opportunity to do that. As we call in people and experiences to help us clean up our karma in our side of the street and help others with opportunities to clean up theirs, then and only then do we fulfill our jobs here on earth. That's it. We're just moving through experiences that we've already scheduled for ourselves to go through to clean up our stuff and to do better and to be better so our soul can ascend, go to heaven, and help from above. We are all meant to get to heaven in one way or another. And for some, it takes years and years and many, many, many lifetimes to achieve the learning. But our souls will continue to cycle in and out of lives to do that. Our soul is relentless. It is so focused on completing itself, completing its mission, that it will continue to come back over and over and over again to do that. And it can be hard labor as we're learning, but if you allow yourself to earn your wisdom as soon as possible, in other words, if you see a red flag, don't ignore it. Pay attention, learn what you need to learn, because every single time you learn, you filter through all these other experiences that are already lined up for you to have to learn that same lesson. You just clear it away. You delete it. You press the delete button, right? Does that make sense? Every time you master a lesson, you just like, I don't need any of those other experiences. I'm good. And then you go on to something else, right? But it can be hard labor. But if you allow yourself to earn the wisdom as soon as possible, you're going to put yourself in the best position possible to forego coming back here to earth in a new body so that you have to learn what you need to learn in new and different ways. Look, I don't know about you, but honest to God, I feel like this is my last lifetime. I don't want to come back to earth. I don't want to be another human body and go through the shit that I've been through. Do not want to. So thank goodness that I kind of woke up years ago. And I have opened up myself to learning from every single thing I could possibly learn. And because I have that intention, I can manifest faster. I have insights faster. My gifts are opened up. I have new and different and better experiences. If I choose the learning path instead of the emotional hurt path, my growth happens exponentially at an exponential rate. And it's hard to know what you're supposed to learn ahead of time. I get it. Our teachings are cloaked in secrecy because we would avoid the painful times at all costs if we knew what was ahead of us. There's no question. I know I would. I mean, I'm no fool. I would never want to intentionally put myself in harm's way. No way. But again, our teachings are cloaked in secrecy, and they are revealed over time. We can never know ahead of time what we need to learn. It's just impossible. So know that you don't need to heal from a damn thing. You don't. You just need to do this one thing. This is the one thing. When I said you need to do this one thing and not heal yourself, this is what it is. Learn, grow, and complete the lesson. That is it. You just need to complete the lesson. Right? That requires awareness, insight, acceptance, responsibility, ownership. Okay? Those things. Letting go of what doesn't serve you. That's completion too. So the next time you hear somebody say you need to heal something in yourself, please don't believe that. Do not buy into that you were flawed, imperfect, broken. That is bullshit. Do you need to learn something so that you can complete an experience and a lesson? Yes. But you don't have to heal a freaking thing about you. And if somebody says they can heal you, do not believe that either. Do not believe that. Now, 30 years in this business that I'm in, the one other thing I know is that people help people by facilitating a process of somebody completing a lesson. But never, no one ever heals anyone. Nobody's that powerful as a human. In order to heal or complete an experience, the person who is wanting to heal, they have to align with that intention, right? Then they have to do the work. You can bring all the yogis around, all the gurus around a person who's struggling. And if they're not ready, if they're not willing, if they're not in position to hear or experience what they need to hear or experience, it does not matter how many gurus you have around. Nothing will change. Right? They have to do the work. They have to make the agreement to take on or let go whatever it is they need to. If it means releasing beliefs or changing behaviors or making different choices. People help people, not heal people. And we complete our lessons. We don't heal ourselves. Okay? Just like we do in human school. In order to rise to the next grade and earn greater and greater and more profound wisdom, we just have to complete the lessons that our teachers, in parentheses, the universe and the people in our world, teach us. How does that feel? That's got to feel a little bit better knowing that you aren't this flawed soul, but you're whole. You just got to complete what you experience instead of leaving things unfinished, undone, where you sweep things under the rug, don't deal with things that will always come back to bite you. Always, always, always. And then you're going to call in all those lined up experiences and you're going to say, all right, give it to me. And you're going to go, wait a minute, where did all this come from? Why are all these bad things happening? What? It's because you didn't complete what you needed to complete in the first place. And you may be saying, well, how do I know what I'm supposed to complete? Pay attention to the signs in your life. Pay attention to what isn't working. What isn't working in your life? What are you not aligned with that you want to be aligned with? Look at the patterns that you have in your life. Why do the same kind of people keep showing up? Why can you not for example, have a sustained income? Why can't you be comfortable with money sitting in the bank versus, oh God, I have money now, I got to spend it? Or why do you keep dating the same kind of people? Right? Whatever the repeated patterns are, every single time you've been given an opportunity to learn, you're like, yeah, no, I don't think so. I'd rather just focus on the fact that I'm hurting about it and that it's just a pattern and I'm not connected to it and I'm not the common denominator of it. Think about that. Focus on completing rather than healing. You don't need to heal. And I promise you, you will feel more powerful, capable, and worthy of what's on the other side of that lesson, because what's on the other side is beauty. It's a higher vibration. It's the ability to help other people. It's the ability to have more joy in your life. And if you're somebody that is struggling and you're like, I have no idea what the lesson is in my life, I don't know how to overcome it, I can't stop these patterns, all of this stuff, reach out to me. Let's do some work, or reach out to a therapist or coach or counselor who you trust that can truly carry you from where you are to where you need to be and not process the shit out of everything you feel for years and years and years. That's not real work. Lean into completing. Lean into eliminating the energy that you carry that pulls in these experiences. Lean into the fact you are whole, complete, already healed, already perfect, and all you need to do is complete the work. I hope this has helped someone today. This was one of the strongest messages that has come through in a very, very long time. So I hope whoever's heard this, you take some good stuff from it. And I send you love. And I wish you a blessed day, a wonderful week, and as always, live intuitively. And let me say lastly, if you have found that these episodes are helpful to you, please go ahead and hop on iTunes and rate and write a review. You know, the more people that can see the podcast, and it's growing and growing and growing leaps and bounds, and I thank you all. But the more comments, the more ratings, the more it grows, the higher the ranking it gets in Apple. Okay? Thank you so much. I love you all, and I wish you the best in completing your lessons.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend. And be sure to give us some stars and a favorable review at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in.